Hello, Cancer, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day, afternoon, evening, night, whenever you might be listening or watching this. This will be your weekly reading for the week of July 20th through the 26th. During that time, we will have a waning crescent moon, and a waning crescent is a time of rest, surrender, healing, a good time to just let go, wrap up things that you've been working on, and we'll just get ready for a new cycle, which shows up with the new moon on the 25th. And of course, that's a time for a fresh start, new beginnings, good time to start new projects, new work, or make any new decisions that you might have going on. So we will start the next moon cycle. This will be an intuitive general reading for the energies that you may or may not encounter, Cancer. So, of course, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is look at the bigger picture. All right, let's see what the Cancer Collective has going on for this week. And as I'm shuffling, my weekly reminder this week is that you get out into nature. So, take a walk, take a hike somewhere, find a beautiful park, or find a place with a lovely view. Maybe if you're near water, if you're lucky enough to be near the ocean, we are all jealous of you that you get to be that close to the ocean. Go visit, don't take advantage of that fact. But yeah, if you're near a lake or a stream, somewhere where you can hear water running, and just get out and just sit with nature and study something for a little bit longer than you normally would. Maybe some birds. I know that, turn these lights on here. Oh, maybe not out of batteries there. I am out in my yard a lot with the hummingbirds and feeding the birds, and there's just, they have their own little stories once you start watching them and paying attention to them. This year I put a little birdhouse up on the side of the house, kind of as a decorative thing, but these birds moved in and they had babies, and I've been watching them all season. And so now the babies have just flown, if they're out of the nest, and they come out and they only go about 10 feet away from the nest, and then they fly back. It's just really cute to watch them, just kind of explore in their little juvenilehood, so anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but get out in nature this week, watch nature, and just take a minute to just really connect, close your eyes, and just enjoy the sights, sounds, smells, that sort of thing. So, all right, Cancer, without further ado, I will stop babbling about nature. Let's get to this reading. Okay, Cancer, July 20th through the 26th. Look at the bigger picture. Let's see what you guys have going on. Okay, present energy. Well, that's fun. Let's start off with some debate, maybe some conflict. Here we are at a 5. And 5s in numerology can be about this. This is about, a little bit of a struggle, something that's maybe come up for you. It doesn't have to be, fighting when it's the wands. It's something where everyone kind of has their own wand they feel passionate about. This can just be a really good debate. So that's your current energy, is maybe you're kind of, debating with some people around you. It could be, it could be a little more extreme than that, a little more. We'll see as the reading goes on what's going on here. Your current situation is the Page of Cups. So it looks like you're at least having a sense of humor, which is great in a debate. You're at least, able to take, when you're in a debate and you have someone, I have, my kids are very, especially my boys are, my young men now, they love to debate me, and they love to just devil's advocate. And they think it's hilarious. So if they know where I stand on a thing, they will come in, of course, with the opposite stance and just push and push, and just, they think it's so funny. And I know they're doing it. And when I catch them anyway. So, and I feel like that's kind of the Page of Cups, is maybe it's a bit juvenile. It's funny, I agree, but it's, it's the bit juvenile where maybe you're taking that devil's advocate side of something just to kind of goad someone, or get them a little worked up. So very interesting that card, that the Page of Cups, comes in. Of course, this can also be, kind of a new path in your emotional realm. This could be, something new that you love, or someone new that you're kind of showing some sort of emotion towards also. At the root of your situation is the Ten of Swords. So there's something here that you are kind of done with, and you may be debating that fact anyway, or maybe um and I'm trying, this could be so many things, but something that you're just intellectually done with. I'm done. I'm not fighting it anymore. I'm not debating it anymore. We can debate it, but I'm finding, I'm throwing the humor in there because I just, and this is almost like I don't even have the energy to think about this anymore. So we'll see what that might be. Cancer. What is in your recent past here is the Hermit. So you've just come out of kind of a mode of being, inner searching, finding your own wisdom on a topic here, and really thinking about, this is kind of just deeper thinking about who you are, what direction you're heading in. What is your next step is usually the Hermit. That light's only lighting his next step there. It's not lighting up the whole world, or, the next week for the Hermit, or the next month or year. It's just really the next step. What is my next step to take? What is the wisest position? And you're just coming off of that energy into this. So what is on your mind this week is the Knight of Pentacles. So some sort of action here in the material realm. Is it brought on by some of these decisions, something you're done with? Some of this debate, some deeper thinking could be. And this could be, nights are about action. So this is action in maybe the financial realm. This could be that you're, making extra money, moving money around, you're, thinking about a purchase, and maybe a bigger purchase than normal. You're thinking, just some sort of action. This could be that you're thinking about moving even. It doesn't have to be, completely about money. It could just be about your place of where you live right now. So, okay, so very interesting layout of cards here. Let's keep going. Again, we're going to look at the bigger picture. We'll wait until something else comes out here to see if we can see what the bigger picture might be. What is just ahead of you is the Magician. Okay, so all of this thought, debate, being done with something, this movement is just bringing you to a place of really focusing in on what you want to manifest next. So, you're probably considering all of these things. I'm looking at all of the elements are now on the table. Isn't this interesting? This is why I love tarot. So we've got swords down here, something you're done with. The wands here, something you're debating. Could just be an inner debate at this point, especially with this Hermit over here. We've got the Page of Cups here, which is about a new path in the emotional realm, and then Knight of Pentacles, which is kind of, knights are also, the pages are juveniles, and knights aren't that much older. A knight is not going to be your old wise hermit guy here. This is someone more in the physical fitness age of, maybe 18 to 20 there. That's so it's action, it's like energetic young action in some sort of material realm. So you've got every single element right up and down the line right here, and look at the Magician asking you, which one of these are you going to pick? you know which element, how are you going to manifest? And you might need to use all of these. You might need to take into account, the swords of something that you're done with, the wands of something that you feel very passionate about, the pages of something that you're newly attached to, and the pentacles in the action of moving forward in some direction that's going to change your world. But here's the Magician asking you which element, and you might have to choose all of them. It might be what the Hermit was telling you also when you were doing some inner searching there. In your advice position is the Three of Swords, which, is telling me you might have to let something go in order to move forward, in order to manifest something new. Again, we're going to look at the bigger picture, which does seem to, it's kind of coming into frame for me right now. There might be something here that you have to let go. It's a little bit of a heartbreak. It's not the end of the road, but it might be a job that you're going to let go. It may be an apartment that you're going to let go as you move into a new apartment or get a house. It could be a car that you're going to let go in order to move into a new one. So something in the material realm here, but I think it does kind of affect you in a way that, it's just sometimes it's change is hard. And there's always that, it's the excitement of moving forward as you're manifesting things, but it's also, the little bit of heartbreak of the things that you do have to leave behind. And I put this in the realm of like, graduating high school or college. This is a huge accomplishment, but it's kind of the heartbreak that your life does change. And all of a sudden, all the people that you've been around for years are now gone and moving off in their own direction. And there you are, right? So it's kind of like that thing. It's like the change, the bittersweet change, right? What is beyond your control this week is that things are coming in very quickly here with the Eight of Wands. So again, more passion. There's just things coming at you. I feel like you're going to be making decisions as you're manifesting and moving things. And I don't see that, I feel like this is something that's kind of rapid. It's kind of a rapid, quick change that has happened for you. This could be that a job, this could be you're done with a job. Maybe you quit a job. Maybe you decided to leave a company. Maybe your company closed down. Something, excuse me, that has something that's done that is kind of making you move in a rapid way towards something else. If that makes sense. What is your secret desire? What you're trying to avoid is the Hanged Man with a new perspective. So, also, I will mention that now we've got three major arcana on the table, which tells me that this is not a light. um some weeks come and go, and you might get a reading that's kind of a very light energy. It's nothing too heavy going on, and this is a little, and I don't mean heavy as in heavy dark. I mean as in when you have three major arcanas or more, for me, I feel like it's kind of a major move in your life. It's a major shift, a major change, something that's going to change your life pretty significantly. It's not, it's not just having a simple encounter or some quick emotional thing that you need to wrap up. This is where you're actually making some pretty big changes here, especially you've got, here's this new perspective, which might have been brought on by, again, something changing, something ending. And for some of you, like I said, this could be, maybe you are graduating from a school and your life is about to change. You've got these things coming in very quickly where your life changes. And that could be for some of you. For some of you, it's the end of a relationship. For some of you, it's the end of a job. For some of you, it's just like an ending that, like I said, it's bittersweet, but you've got to take this new perspective and run with it. Your life is changing in some way, and it's not insignificant. In your outcome position is the World card. Wonderful. So this is the end of the major arcana. I think this may be our star of the week. I've had this card so many times this week. This is kind of being at the end of a cycle. And look, it's literally at the end of your reading. This is a card of perfect balance. This is dreams materialized. This is worldly success, both in the material, the emotional, the passion, all of these realms that the magician asks you how you want to move forward. It's like you're going to be great. I feel like, the decisions that you make this week and the way that you move forward, you're just going to be very happy with. This is the very last card in the major arcana in the Fool's journey. The Fool comes through, and the Fool encounters the Hermit and encounters the Magician. Actually, the Magician is the first card that the Fool encounters, but I'm sure you can go back and forth to that. The Hanged Man, changing perspective. But, the World card is where you're at the end of a journey. It's freedom. It's feeling balanced. It's like things have happened and things are being put into place so that you can actually start, turn over that next Fool card and start on your next journey. So that's where you are. Let's see what's hidden from you here at the end of the deck, or at the bottom of the deck. What's hidden from you is dissatisfaction. So, you're very satisfied with everything that's going on this week. So I'm glad to see a card like that there, because you're moving forward. And even though this card seems very dark, again, like it's an ending, and you've got this bittersweet with this heartbreak card here, I just feel like everything else is just so positive. Everything else is about seeking light, moving forward, moving in a positive direction, and getting to a place where you do feel perfectly balanced, and life is good. So I wish you luck with all of that. And again, looking at the bigger picture, which it did take a few cards to come out to kind of see the bigger picture of what was going on there. Let's get a final word here from the Soul Oracle deck. Final word for Cancer. Any more advice for them as they make these changes? Live from your spirit. I love that. If you're making decisions this week, think the deeper thoughts. What are these deeper thoughts you were having back here with this Hermit card on how you want to move forward? And if you're moving forward and you want to live your life in a particular spiritual way, make sure that your decisions reflect that. That's how you do that. So, this is the self care wisdom cards. And let's grab one of these to see what Cancer needs to do for self care this week. How does Cancer need to be taking care of themselves this week? And the card that comes out for you guys is the growth card. Evolution starts when you leave your comfort zone. When I get it on the camera there. Evolution starts when you leave your comfort zone, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So, how perfect is that? Again, like I said, this appears to be what's happening here. This appears to be, again, some bittersweet ending, leaving your comfort zone, the thing that you've known for such a long time. And now you've got to take on this new perspective. You've really got to pull from all of these elements and decide that you're going to be emotionally open. You're going to stand your ground when it comes to change and debate and making decisions. You're going to go ahead and let go of the swords, this old way of thinking, and bring on this new way of thinking with this hanged man. It's such an interesting story. Not always does tarot come out in such a complete story to me, but this one really does in your reading this week, Cancer. So I wish you the best of luck on this new journey that it appears you're on, whatever's wrapping up for you. And look at the bigger picture, like the overall card said. I think the bigger picture is, in the end, going to be a very happy one for you. So, Cancer, thank you so much for joining me this week. I really appreciate your time here with me. If you like my reading style, of course, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel, but most importantly, it'll help you find me next week. I do readings every week, so come back and we'll see what is the next page in your story. Let's watch that page turn and see where you guys are off to. So, Cancer, again, good luck with all this, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.